Item number 2, review of proposed amendments to ordinance number 288, chapter 154, gas drilling and production.
Council, we have a whole list of proposed amendments to our ordinance, and as was pointed out in answering Mr. Pitt's question, this was compiled. First of all, Mr. Burkett provided a list many months ago of things that were kind of conflicting or missing from our ordinance, and then through permitting the Chesapeake site, we have found other lacking items. And as everyone probably knows, a piece of legislation is always can be tweaked. And so I don't know exactly how I think I'm going to try to go through this without reading every definition, but saying what the idea is, and then if you have a question, if you would please speak up. In our ordinance, there was a conflicting definition of daytime, and so this would correct it to mean the period of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We would be adding a definition for fire department, cathodic protection system, ECOR, VTEX, and I do want to point out to the crowd that this is available on that table back there if you want to look at one to go along with this. TPH, that is an acronym for total petroleum hydrocarbon chloride. MCL stands for maximum contaminant levels. OGS stands for oil and gas site. PBR stands for permit by rule for oil and gas production facilities located in the Barnett Shale region that are administered by the TCEQ. TPY stands for tons per year. VOC stands for volatile organic compounds. Lift compressor, line compressor, pad site boundary. So those are definitions that are not in our current ordinance that are referred to that need to be in the ordinance. We need to add wording that in the event there is not an active gas inspector, in other words, if we are in the town in an interim period between gas inspectors, that all reference to the gas inspector in the ordinance shall mean the town administrator until an inspector is designated. Again, that would only be in a case where there was some kind of gap in coverage, and that's pretty standard. We need to add a section on road damage assessment fees and calculations, that all operators shall be required to submit any required road use fees prior to the issuance of any gas drilling permits, and that the required fees shall be as follows. Now, currently we are working to create the road damage assessment fee schedule. You cannot just come up with fees. You have to have data that supports how you're charging for the road damage. And so we have tentatively scheduled a road bore for Western Trails, which that is where they bore down through the road, so that they can analyze that and come up with the road damage assessment fee that we will charge for that road. And hopefully by the time that we have this ordinance on our next agenda, we'll have that criteria filled in.
And the criteria.
So is that site specific? I mean, we're just doing Western Trails just because that's the most recent permit area, or that's been approved?
Well, We will have more, the generalized information for the ordinance, but Western Trails is about to happen, and so we have to get in gear so that we can be able to charge Chesapeake.
Right, but I think that the answer to the question is, the answer is yes, it's site specific, because that's where the trucks are going to be operating.
The ordinance will not be site specific, the conditions of their permit that will be issued will be site specific, and it will include road damage assessment fee and giving them a fee. But because we've never done it before, we did not do it on the XTO well because the city or town is not allowed to collect this fee from a state highway, and the XTO well site is accessed directly from FM 1886, and so we kind of just didn't worry with it because we didn't have to. So,
See, the road that's already there can handle that loadage?
That's what the testing is done for, and that's what the question was. The assessment fee is what will be passed by resolution, but testing is what will give us that information back as to the structural strength of the road. And the question I thought you were going to ask maybe was what was the test going to be done to? But anyway, okay, we'll stand it.
Oh, yeah.
to the section on application and filing fees.
Section 154.021.
B2, we need to change that wording to say the town at its sole discretion may elect to utilize a qualified third party to conduct any inspections required by this article or in response to complaints that require professional consultation or field sampling activities. Any fee charges by such third-party inspector or professional consultant shall be the responsibility of the operator and shall be paid to the town within 30 days of receipt of an invoice from the town. Now, we do already have, in a couple of places, the wording that establishes that they will be responsible for those fees, but by adding this verbiage, it's spelled out, and it also spells out that we're gonna bill them and we want that money back within 30 days. In the same section, B3, we want to add any permit that lapses for non-payment of the annual permit fee required in this article will be reinstated upon payment of an additional fee of $500 for each 30-day period in which the permit has been allowed to lapse. So in other words, don't forget when the annual permit fee is due, or you will be billed more.